flow of
Mm-hmm.
information. That if things are not working naturally, if there's not natural communication between people, things slow down. People don't. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Um, this is where we're getting into trouble territory, right? When in a company, like it's, as a person who works for myself, I'm very aware of time and time
Yeah.
pressures. I think the whole point of having a company is to not have those problems. The whole point of having a group of people together is so that you don't have those problems that you have when you're on your own, right? And so this, if people in the company are starting to think, well, I don't have a minute to look at this mail, there's something seriously wrong. If you don't have 1 minute to click on a mail that's important, if you're starting to worry about how you spend each minute, then there's a massive problem with time management, because you shouldn't you shouldn't be worried about that. I mean, look at Google is the classic example. There are many others where they've got the 80-20 principle. Like 80% of your time in work is spent on company business, 20% is spent on personal projects. And I think this is the right average. If I've never met anybody who said that's a bad idea, right? In general, I agree with you. Any little thing that makes the working life easier is great, because the reason why I talked about purpose, like work has to give people purpose, otherwise it's pointless. But there's another element to work which is really important, which is 99.99% of jobs are not good jobs to do, because you have to pay someone to do it. And what this means is that people won't do it for free. And the reason why people won't do it for free is because there's some element about it which is complex or difficult or boring or requires a certain skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's not going to happen by itself. You need to pay someone to do it, and anything that you can do to make the employee's life a little bit more comfortable is something which is great, especially if it's one less thing that somebody has to think about. If it's like, where am I going to go for for coffee, or it's like, where can I get a snack because food is important for people, or where can I get childcare for my kids for 2 hours because I've got to do somewhere, or go to another meeting or something, or I want to be closer to my kids, for example. Um, so the downside, as you pointed out, is that a lot of people could quite comfortably just live in their job and then not ever leave, and that's not good for the mindset, right? That's not good for your own sort of personal psychology. You've got to get out of the box, as I think, as often as
And it
possible, and have
doesn't
a health.
happen if you will be with if you will be with the same people in the same place. Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time, we don't want to go backwards, right? We want to experiment, we want to see what works, and we want to take steps forward. That's going to require making some mistakes. That's going to require having some changes that maybe some people like, maybe some people don't like, maybe we keep it, maybe we don't. Um, and it involves some levels of experimentation, and all of these bigger companies are good at that. They're good at seeing what works. They're good at experimenting. They're good at listening to their employees. They're leaders in this, and we definitely don't want to go back the other way, where you know we there, it might be slow progress, but over the last 100 years, working environments have changed to be a lot more comfortable for a lot more people.
Mm.
Um, so so I don't think it's a worry, and people can always as long as you can say no to these things. You know, when I don't like the I don't like it when, personally, it's a personal thing. I don't like it when companies say, okay, we're having a special training weekend and you've got to go away to some cottage in the countryside on Saturday and Sunday. And it's like, you know, isn't that supposed, if you can't fit it in Monday to Friday, then, then I don't know if it can be, I don't know if taking people's personal time has any value at all whatsoever. I don't, personally, I don't like that. However, I know a lot of people who don't have any purpose and they're not interested, they don't have their own plans, they're not doing anything, and
And
if
they
somebody else,
enjoy.
and yeah, somebody says, okay, we're all gonna go away for the weekend. They're like, yay, and they love it.
Yeah,
That's not me, but you know, I
yeah.
respect there are people with different opinions. But I think people should always have the choice to say no. I think in any situation, you have to have the ability to say, no, I don't want to be part of this. I don't agree with it. And you have to respect that, especially when it's in something that happens in people's own time outside of
Mm.
general working hours. Now, every now and then, when you're in a certain kind of job in a certain kind of situation, you can be expected to put in more hours to uh, to prepare something the night before the presentation, maybe to get up earlier and travel somewhere. Um, I think that's a part of each and every job. But at the same time, I have to say that in countries where people are paid slightly less, like Slovakia, I don't think you can ask for more from the employees. I really don't. Um, I think, you know, turning around to someone and saying, well, you know, you should be doing this, this, this. It's like, well, look at how much money you put into my bank account at the end of the month, right? I mean, really, really, guys. So, um, I think that you can't undervalue people financially and expect them to produce more.
Hmm.
Yet, and you can't do that from the management side. Yet, as a manager or an owner of a company, if someone in your company is performing well, you want to reward them. You also need to understand that 90% of the economic value in every company is produced by 10% of the employees. That's been scientifically checked and repeated again and again and again and again and again. So you have to understand that 10% of the people in your company are creating 90% of the profit. So it's you have to be orientating some kind of benefits and some kind of advantages to those people who are creating value for your company, um, as well. So you've got to think about that. So it's important to listen to the employees' needs about what it is that what it is that they need, and hopefully, if you choose the right people for the right kind of job, then things are going to fit together. It doesn't always happen. There was a manager in a large local company who was fired from his job last year because he was fired after 6 weeks of his job because he was found asleep at his desk like 5 or 6 times. And he was I can't say which company because I don't
Yeah, sure.
want to.
It's okay.
It's a very large local company, and they employed a new manager to um, to be in charge of a certain area of the production of the company, and it was very important. And he was paid a lot of money, and he was fired after 6 weeks because they just kept finding him asleep at his desk. I mean, so
Why did he sleep?
sorry.
Why did he sleep?
Um, I don't have all the details and information. I talked with his colleagues. It was the colleagues that told me we had to fire somebody from our company because we found him asleep at his desk like constantly. Yeah, and is it that he went out and partied, or is it that he had some kind of sickness or illness or whatever? Um, I don't know, but they fired him eventually because this is ridiculous. You can't have a
Yeah.
top manager sleeping at his desk like every week. Um, so finding the right person for the right job is hard. There's a brain drain around places like Banska
Mm-hmm.
Bystrica where the younger intelligent people a lot of the time are pulled towards bigger cities, and they don't want to come back, and so there can be a problem for employers to find quality
Mm-hmm.
employees. But that's why when you find someone who's good, you have to treat them really well, um, and hope that they understand that they're being
Yeah.
treated well. A lot of people will also as well take advantage of things. I mean, there's another manager that I worked with a manager from Red Bull, and he was telling me about the partners they have. And he was telling me that they have managing partners who work for companies like CBE, the
Mm-hmm.
Potravini,
Yeah.
and
CBA.
Co-op Jednota.
I
And
know.
they say that he was telling me that the managers were bragging, talking positively about themselves because they only do 3 hours work a day and they go home.